OKBF Tour event number 1 was held on Siltcoos Lake. 41 competitors showed up for the event, and a total of 80 bass were caught. The conditions were extra fishy, and would this event be another Siltcoos blowout, or would it come down to the final hour or so? We have the results. Stay tuned. Siltcoos Lake is located on the Oregon coast and is about a 2-hour drive east of Eugene. With a surface area of 3,164 acres, it is the largest lake on the Oregon coast. The lake is home to some giant bass and is a very popular lake amongst warm weather fishermen. Bass, crappie, catfish. The lake's all full of all of that stuff, man. But what people may not know about Siltcoos Lake is that the state record coho is a 25-pound monster that was caught in this lake in 1966 by Ed Martin. On a side note, the Oregon state record for Chinook salmon is 83 pounds and has been the record since 1910. That record survived 2 world wars and an entire war on terrorism. And this fish was caught by Ernie St. Clair on the Umpqua River. It's pretty wild, dude. 83 pounds. I don't think that's happening anymore these days. Another coastal river, not the same lake or anything, but just an interesting thing that I found while digging for information on Siltcoos and the coast of Oregon. It's crazy. But they do have salmon that run through Siltcoos Lake, probably through the Siltcoos River, I imagine, right? It only makes sense. The weather was not bad for a coastal day of fishing. The Weather Channel predicted a high of 65 and mostly cloudy skies with a humidity of 93%, and all that stayed true. There was a slight breeze up to 8 miles an hour and no rain. Yeah, it's a good day of fishing there for the coast. Anytime you don't get rain on the coast, you're doing pretty good, especially in like April or May. Summertime's usually pretty nice, just overcasting most time, I would say, in my experience, but I'm no expert on weather. The winner of this event will qualify for the KF&W Kayak Bass Classic. What is the Classic? It's an invite-only event that's held at the end of the season, and only competitors that have qualified for the Classic will be competing that day. It's like the best of the best between the IKBF, OKBF, and WKBF. It's not very easy to qualify at all. Qualifying for the KF&W Kayak Bass Classic is not easy. You're going to have to win something or come out of somewhere. But to qualify, here are the rules. You must have a current membership, right? You're not going to get far without one of those throughout the season. You're going to need that. Also, if you win last year's KF&W Kayak Bass Classic, you're automatically qualified for this event. You're also qualified if you win a tour event, whether it be WKBF, OKBF, or IKBF, any one of those. You also qualify for the AOI runner-up in each division and the second runner-up in the AOI standings. You can also qualify if you're the AOI and the runner-up in the online challenge series in each division. So Idaho, Oregon, Washington again. If you're in one of those and you're doing the online series and you get the AOI or the runner-up for it, you qualify for the KF&W Bass Classic. And then winning the season-long challenge in each one of those divisions will also qualify you for the Classic. Yeah, there's not very many ways to get in, so you definitely have to win, compete, and do well. That's the best of the best event for sure. There's no easy way to do it. There's not. You can't buy your way into this one. You're going to have to fish, not just show up to tournaments. The Kayak Bass Classic is the best of the best event. Like you're going to have to win events, AOIs, challenge series, AOIs, or runner-up. Like it's going to be tough to get in there, and only the best who show up. It's a good event, good time. This year it's going to be presented by Rogue Brewing Company. And there's some secret going on too. I seen Marvin's Facebook post about more stuff in the works with those guys. It's Rogue. It's good stuff too. It's definitely growing. But yeah, it's definitely an event you're not going to want to miss. You definitely want to be part of that Classic. It should be a goal. There's also strategies involved in this too. Like if you win a tour event, like let's say Garrett just won one. So if Garrett goes and fishes another event and wins that event, the person that finishes second does not get the slot for the Classic. So he's essentially taking a slot away from somebody else, which might help him in the long run. It's one less competitor he's going to have to deal with. So it's just things to think about. There's strategies involved in this stuff too. I mean, yeah, if one WKBF guy wins all the tournaments he's in, no one else is going to be from WKBF except for the online challenge guy. And it's happened 2019. Andrew Larson, I think he won pretty close to everything. I think that was pretty classic though. It's good times. But yeah, so there's just things to think about. Moves and counter moves, man. They're all over the place. For sure. But yeah, the slots do not go to the next person on the list. If you don't win, you don't get in. There's no second place, and you're through except for the runner-ups, obviously, for the AOI and the Challenge and Online Series and Tour Series. This is also a West Coast Championship qualifying event, and the top 25% of the competitors will qualify for that. And that's usually down in California. It's a big deal. It's a coalition of other kayak leagues from Utah, Arizona, California, Washington, Oregon, Idaho. Probably missing a state, but it's just a coalition. They send their best. You compete against each other, and there's lots of opportunities coming out of the West Coast Championship as well that we'll talk about later. I don't know the full story yet. We'll figure it out. But the West Coast, you don't want to miss West Coast Championship either. A little easier to qualify for. It's pretty good opportunities and good times. Then you get to go to California and fish. How often do you get to do that for a purpose? The OKBF does have some history at fishing at Siltcoos. This was the third event there. The first one was in 2018. 14 competitors showed up. 28 fish were submitted to the Tourney X leaderboard. Matthew Burdick, who is now currently the tournament director for OKBF, he would go on to win that tournament with 74.5 inches. 4 competitors from 2018 were registered for this 2024 event, including Matt Burdick and Marvin Forte. Robert Hammond and Keegan Pangrantz as well have also been in this game for a long time. Hats off to those guys for sure for sticking it out, man. They're probably enjoying it, like sticking out like it's a job or something. Well, actually, I think it is for some of them, but still. Siltcoos Lake was also part of the 2021 season. 25 competitors and a total of 45 fish were caught. Marvin Forte, the man behind all of the KFNW, would win that event with 76.25 inches. And Gage Lovell would finish in second with 74 inches. The biggest bass was 19-inch largemouth bass caught by Matt Walker. It was a pretty productive day back then, too. Obviously, only half the fish were caught. Will we catch 90 this time in 2024? 80. Got 80. That's a little past history of Siltcoos Lake for the OKBF. That's over 20-inch club for the Lake Siltcoos event. Brandon Hua with 20-inch largemouth. Braden Allison with a 20-inch largemouth. Richard Childs also with a 20-inch largemouth. It's a day for 20s, huh? 3 of them in a row. The biggest bass of the tournament was a 20.25 inch, just a quarter-inch bigger than the rest. Caught by Colin Sutton, and he would take home $470 in cash and prizes. I think it was like $370 cash, another $100 gift card from Discount Tackle, I believe. Don't quote me on that, though. That's going off memory. I'm not sure. Not a bad day, though. Some big fish being caught for sure. The 20.25 was caught in the morning, too. At least before 10 o'clock, so it was part of the pre-update. Not bad, though. It's not a bad day to start. At 10 a.m., a total of 35 fish had been caught. The morning bite was hot for Colin Sutton and Brandon Hua. They were the only competitors to catch a limit by the midday update. Colin Sutton would go in the second half with a 1-inch lead over Brandon Hua. Just 1 inch separated them. Going in for after 10 o'clock. I think I got it at like 10:30 when I saw the results. Yeah, and Colin Sutton's fish, the 20.25 inch, did hold the top spot in the bass spot for the remainder of the event. Braden Allison was in third with a total of 55 inches. Michael Kane was in fourth at 53.5 inches. Will Harris would round out the top 5 with 52.5 inches. This was all in the midday. This would all change. Not all change, but a lot would change by then. The battle for first was still heating up between Brandon Hua and Colin. And Brandon's trying to win his first tournament since 2022, where he took home the AOI of the year for the OKBF. So that's kind of an interesting story as well. Let's see if he can pull it off. We'll go into the overall here in the second half of the day. The hot morning bite would carry into the second half of the event, and 7 anglers would now find their 5 fish limits. Brandon Hua caught 2 18.25 inch upgrades, calling a 17.25 and a 17 inch, and brought his total to 91.75, and would be what needed to take the lead over Colin Sutton and finish in the first place. His first win since 2022. Colin Sutton was able to cull a 16.5 largemouth and replace it with a 17 inch, bringing his total to 91 inches, and that was good enough to finish in second place. That was a race right there, huh? 91.75, 91 inches, beat him by 3/4. Those 2 culls mattered, huh? Towards the end of the day, it's good stuff, man. Fishing is fishing. You never know what's going to happen. Mario Romero finished in third place with a total of 88.5 inches. William Eschleman would start the second half of the day outside the top 10, but found his groove and made his way up the leaderboard, finishing in fourth place with a total of 88 inches. Will Harris added 2 more fish to the first half catch and would remain in fifth place with a total of 87 inches. It's an interesting event. A lot of crazy things went down for sure. Comebacks, kept catching fish, coaling fish, like all these important things that happened the second half of the day. I mean, they all worked out for Brendan there, huh? Hats off to him, man. And I already saw what he's doing. He's already down in Dorshek getting ready for the Classic. He's already off and doing it. I know Garrett, too, he's going to be out there practicing, too, soon. It's still a drive for him, even though he's in Idaho. But, man, the Classic's going to be crazy this year. Overall, it's a good event. I'm sure lots of lessons were learned. Never give up, obviously. It's never too late. You can always come back. And Matt Burdick had an interesting breakdown of the numbers. I thought it was kind of interesting. I saw this on Facebook. It's like, man, that's interesting. We're definitely have to add that to the collection. The average fish per person. That's interesting. It was like over 17 inches or something like that. I don't know what to compare it to because I've never done it, but it seems like a pretty wild number. I mean, seven limits is good. It's overall a good tournament. Plenty of fish were caught for sure. The next tour event is going to be June 15th, and that's going to be a KF&W event. WKBF, OKBF, and IKBF will all be there on Lake Waula in Tri-Cities area. It's also going to be the Native Watercraft No Limit Power Hour. So that's going to be 4 events in one, essentially. It's going to be kind of wild, crazy. Time to get signed up now, all right? Like, what are you waiting for? The goal is to get to at least 125 people. The goal, I mean, 300 is cool, but like 125. That's when things start to pick up and heat up. Even more, the merrier. The more, the better, too. More money, more cash, more prizes. The prizes are insane for these native events. They're insane for these KF&W events as well. The sponsors really put out for these events. It's good times. Lots of fish are caught. People are cool. There's really no reason not to go. Unless you don't have a kayak, then I guess, right? But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Questions, comments, or want to join the show, just let me know. The best way to get a hold of me is on Instagram at twomorecast. Send me a message. I'll read it. I check my request messages and the ones that don't make it either. And if I haven't reached out to you, I'd probably just don't know how to get a hold of you if you win these events or whatever. I'm trying to reach out for sure. And I'll be doing that in the next couple days, but that'll be it.